Nice work, LeBron James. Yes, Self-Made is one of the very first projects from LeBron's new production company, Spring Hill Entertainment. And the title very clearly says, Self-Made, inspired by the life of Madam C.J. Walker. So yeah, it's not 100% historically accurate. But guess what? Most movies and TV shows about historical events and figures are not historically accurate. Some far more egregiously and much more high profile than Self-Made, but because they don't put up the flag letting you know, they don't take a little bit of the fault for it that I see some, this does have a fresh tomato on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it should be a little bit higher, quite frankly, but I think some people are taking points off for that. But that's ridiculous considering Hollywood's long history with history. But yeah, also in addition to being historically inaccurate, it's a little soap opera-y. And it's this close to belonging on Lifetime. But it's so entertaining, it's wildly entertaining, and it's so uplifting for both women of color and all women who are interested in being entrepreneurs. In fact, the ending scenes brought tears to my eyes. I was really moved multiple times throughout this show, as well as getting entertained. And it also offers wonderful dynamic roles for actors of color. So for those multiple reasons, to me, Self-Made is a knockout. But sure, the boxing metaphor that they use in the first episode is kind of cringe. It's like your teacher trying way too hard to make a history lesson interesting, and it just backfires. I would have cut that, quite frankly. But I did like using modern music in spots to make the story more accessible to today's audience. And I checked! The storyline about Madam C.J. Walker's daughter being a lesbian and cultural leader in Harlem, that's all I'm going to say, because it's going to get some of you to watch this. That's true! It's just another chapter of diverse history that has been tragically ignored up until now. I can't believe that I've never heard of that until now. Does Tiffany Haddish do a great job in the role? Tiffany Haddish doesn't have a lot of range, but she's incredibly likable. She really pops on screen. She's a force of nature, and she throws herself into the role. She takes it very seriously. So, it works. But everyone else in Self-Made does a legit excellent acting job. Oscar winner Octavia Spencer finally gets a chance to shine in a leading role. So often she's stuck in supporting. That's what she won the Oscar for. But here she's the lead, damn it. And she carries the 4 episodes flawlessly. Well, not flawlessly. There was one thing that bothered me. There's a pivotal moment where she rides a bicycle. You'll see why. And I understand that it's difficult to ride a bicycle in a long Victorian skirt. But it's a pivotal moment for the character, and she so clearly is not riding the bicycle in the scene. They keep cutting back and forth between a body double on the bicycle and then Octavia Spencer clearly on a device that's pulling her with handlebars in the frame. And I'm like, wow, you knew it was in the script, Octavia. You're an Oscar winner. Take the time to learn to ride the bike because it really undercut the power of the scene. Anyway, Carmen Ejogo, who rarely plays the villain, well here she does a great job chewing the scenery as Madam C.J. Walker's rival. But as the series progresses, the 4 episodes progress, her role becomes far more complex. And you see there's actually a lot more going on there. I liked that. And look, speaking of what's going on in this show, it covers so much in just 4 episodes. So again, I think people are being overly harsh on it, considering what it accomplishes. It tackles beauty stereotypes and how that affects women of color. Really, that was just so amazingly well done. There's been a discussion about it with Hair recently. Hair Love winning the Oscar for Best Animated Short, but this goes even beyond that. It really tackles the subject from multiple angles. The entire African American community trying to forge their own path, not just business-wise, but also culturally, post-slavery. That's all in there. Women wanting to work, having their own businesses, how their husbands and other men react to that. The LGBT community within the African American community, again, at this time. And all in just 4 episodes. I think it touches on all of these points really well and makes an impression, piques your interest, which is really important. I mean, this is stuff that's never been talked about in the history book. So to just carve out that initial space with this show is so crucial. I think Self-Made should get a lot of points for that. And it's not just about the ladies, if you're wondering. There are a lot of great male characters and actors playing them. Blair Underwood is super soap opera-y as Madam C.J. Walker's husband. Garrett Morris steals every scene he's in, and he's in a number of them. And Kevin Carroll, by the way, makes a great case for being the new Andre Holland, making a serious role that could have just been a wallflower extremely compelling. You were like, I want to get to know that guy better. And we did a little bit, but he was a still waters that ran very deep. It was excellent. Bill Bellamy also has a small role that takes a turn you will not see coming. I loved it. Well, you'll see. I loved it and how powerful it was. I was incredibly moved by Self-Made. Again, brought to tears at the end. And multiple times while watching it, I was like, this is really good. I don't know. I would say it's 70% wow, 30% cringe. But, come on. Cut it some slack. And the show left me feeling very good. With an end credit scene with great modern music, they really turned it up to an 11, showing real pictures of the characters depicted here. The people, they're not characters, they're real people depicted here, and additional information about them. Cassie Lemons, just coming off of directing Harriet, Oscar-nominated Harriet, I loved that movie, directs 2 of the episodes here, while Demaine Davis, who did Queen Sugar, directs the other 2, and Nicole Jefferson Asher scripts all of them. And I would say Madam C.J. Walker is actually very similar to Harriet. It might be a little light on the gravitas and like the cinematic qualities, but by the end of both of these projects, you know who these women are, you admire the heck out of them, and you learn more about Black history than you did before. And I think, again, that's incredibly important. If you liked Harriet, you will definitely enjoy Self-Made. And that's a promise. I really think people should watch both of these. They're fantastic. I hope people watch them, and I think schools should show both of them. Self-Made's a little bit risque at parts. I don't know if you can show that in schools. Maybe to older kids. All right, so anyway, this is also a great argument. The final point I want to make is that this is a great argument for why it's important to have not only people of different types tell their own stories. This is a case where it's almost entirely, Black talent working on this in front of and behind the camera. It doesn't have to be 100%, but people need to be in the mix when you're depicting certain stories. You need to have that authenticity represented in the behind the scenes and in the front of the camera selections. And I think that not only is that important, but it's important to have diverse people in the entertainment business so that they make these projects. Because Madam C.J. Walker is the first American woman of any ethnicity to become a self-made millionaire, and her story's only being told now? Again, you did good, LeBron. He should be very proud of this, as should everyone who's associated with it. All right, so that's my review of Self-Made, streaming now on Netflix. Go watch it, and watch Harriet. They're both available. Share your own thoughts down below. Subscribe today, and of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.